Woo. Whoa. Whew. So, we're gonna go and we're gonna try to figure out, of course, which is the best tasting coffee. I have my handy pen, my little notepad. Let's get after it. Alright guys, welcome back to the Occasional Barista, and today we are going to go over something a little special today. We're going to do a slight coffee experiment, and it's going to be dealing with, boom, this guy right here. Now, to many of you, this is just a coffee bag, and I mean, it's a bag holding coffee, so you're not wrong. But what you also don't know is that this bag of coffee right here is a Canadian roaster for one. I don't know if my Canadian viewers out there, if you guys know this. But it also is a blend, and for people who who might not know, single origin of course comes from one place, and that one place could be any country or region of the world, whereas a blend like this can also come from one country or one region, but it is made up of different types of coffee, and as you'll see right here, it's made up of both medium roasted coffee as well as a dark French roasted coffee. And the experiment that we're gonna do is, now the reason why I've been having and holding this magical wand, it's almost like that Disney, if I could do that in the corner, I don't know, is because I have my handy dandy IKEA whiteboard. So let's break this down. Boom. We have the experiment in my lovely handwriting. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll use my arm. But we have the K1 mountain roasted coffee is going to be split into cups A, B, and C. From there, we are going to break it down between the blend, the dark, and the medium. Now, I don't know how any of these coffees taste. They could taste, honestly, like pretty horribly on its own. That is because of one thing. They did a medium roast, which is probably on the spectrum of roasting from A to B here. It would say medium roast will be, of course, right in the middle. Now, medium roast is a very wide spectrum nowadays. However, they also threw in the darkest side, and as pretty much as dark as you can get, a traditional French roasted coffee. Now, what's so interesting about this is I've never had a blend that was this different. Now, I'll show you a photo of what a normal blend looks like. And again, this blend, very different. So let's go and conduct the experiment.
First impression, you OPN, we should be closer friends. If you OPN, engaging is on my agenda. Request my chariot, get ya. The doors OPN, take that hot road and hop in. Monarch butterflies, you should open up. I'm trying to put your heart together, found it broken up. Smoke.
Woo! That was a lot of work, but we did it. 3 pour overs, A, B, and C. Let's finally replenish some of this energy because I need some coffee now. In front of me, give me a sec. Whoa. We have A, B, and C. All right, let's fix that. So, we're gonna go and we're gonna try to figure out, of course, which is the best tasting coffee. I have my handy pen, my little notepad. Let's get after it. Letter A. So this coffee right here, honestly, I should probably just do this. Let's just slap that puppy right here. Letter A, it might fall into my other cups. Oop, there it goes. Letter A is gonna be the medium. Just the medium roast from me hand picking it myself. This is the one that I perceived in my hypothesis to be the best. Honestly, surprisingly good. I've had this coffee with both of them together and I'm pleasantly surprised. It has like a nice, smooth, caramely finish. It's not over the top. Like I said it was gonna be like City Plus or even Full City, but it really is actually very nicely roasted. Not getting anything over the top bitter. I do think though, and I tried showing it on my fingers, so the French roast coffee, naturally when you roast a coffee bean, since it's an organic material, and you start hitting really high temps for a longer period of time, it actually starts pushing out all the oils and moisture out to the surface, which creates that glossy finish. Now that is what I saw all over the place on that French dark roasted coffee. So I honestly am tasting a little bit of that. It's kind of this kind of weird, how do I say this nicely, but kind of like roasty, burnt taste to it. But it's really, really subtle, which makes me think it wasn't really the medium roasted coffee. I think it just, from it being in the bag, I'm getting some of those oils that has gone on to the medium roasted coffee. Now, let me just grab that letter A. Letter A. So as of right now, A is looking very good. All right, moving on to letter B. Okay. When I made this coffee, and here, let me do the same thing, letter B. Boom. When I did this coffee, it was intense. Like, I swear to you, the smell was almost like I was getting like a secondhand caffeine rush. Just the smell alone made me feel like I have had my cup of coffee for the day. This stuff I feel like is like you could rub it on your skin and it could be a new like man's cologne. But you know, again, I'm not gonna say anything until I actually try this, even though I just said a lot. Oh man, it smells still the same. Kind of like that resin pine tar smell. Yeah. Woo! Woo! I honestly feel like I might have some hairs on my chest. Not a lot, but I swear that thing packs a punch. And when I say packs a punch, a whole lot of dryness. And that's one of the biggest things, let me just fix this. That's one of the biggest things that I was kind of worried about. This coffee, I kind of got over roasted to the point where when you're handling the actual beans itself, it actually feels light because most of the oils and the moisture has been already, you know, kind of burned out of it. And it gives it this really brittle texture. So when I was actually brewing this cup of coffee, knowing it was a little bit, I didn't want to change anything for the sake of the experiment. So I didn't change grind size, I didn't change input of water, I didn't change input of the coffee itself. But if I were to brew this to like really try to make the best cup of coffee out of all those French darkly roasted beans, I would probably for sure change that grind size. It just really, when it hits those burrs, it just kind of powderifies, and it's hard to really kind of adjust that. Maybe I might have adjusted the input, of course. I'm gonna take one more sip just for the experiment's sake, but I don't necessarily want too much more of this. Yeah, just, oh, woohoo! Man, I need a little break. Give me a little break. A little water break here. Oh, yeah. So as of right now, I think it's safe to say A goes first. A is in the lead. B is a little bit behind now. Here's the most interesting part. So I've had A. I actually really enjoyed it. And if my memory serves me right, I'm pretty sure it was better than the first time I've ever had this coffee, which was all together, which is C. So let's give C a try and see in a V60 format if this is any better. C. I'm gonna stop doing that. It's just gonna fall off in my coffee. I am gonna point out that since I did just do three different pour overs, there's a time difference and there's a time lag in regards to drinking it hotter, colder, or whatever. I did take sips, by the way, in between the shots of me, you know, actually pouring the coffee, brewing the coffee. And now, so just so you guys think, oh, you know, this is a flawed experiment, you know, it was flawed from the beginning. I'm doing it, I'm not a scientist. But I am gonna say one thing. This coffee C, it has too much of that French dark roasty bitterness that comes through. The beautiful part about A was that, of course, it had just the glimmer of like C. It was like a better C because so much of B, I feel like I'm showing you the alphabet right now, but because it had just enough time intermingling in the bag to get some of that French roasted dark oils on it, I honestly think A is the perfect cup of coffee. It has the little bit of brightness. I'm gonna try it again. Yeah, there is some brightness in it. There's a little bit of that acidity that you find normally in lighter, medium to light roasted coffees that gets balanced out by that little bit of that dark oil that you feel like you could fuel your car with, or, you know, like WD-40 really, like fix a squeaky hinge. That it combines together really nicely, where that caramely dark, kind of burnt caramely finish, it almost is like drinking a creme brulee. It's so sweet, it has a little bit of that creamy, has that little caramely, and then that, you know, what's the French roasted oil, that little burnt taste helps finish it out. So I would tell people, and I'm gonna tell these guys, K1, the Capique 1 Expedition Roast here, go, you know, just roast the medium. Go take this Expedition Roast. If you have the time, split apart the beans and just drink the medium because it's fantastic. Don't throw away beans, by the way. And these dark beans are not gonna go to waste. Let me tell you, you can create face scrubs. You can go and give it into, what are those, now I gotta look it up. See, the coffee's not working yet. Oh my gosh, the coffee finally hit. Composting, okay? You can also use a fertilizer. There's so many different things. Don't ever throw away coffee. Or, like I said in my podcast, The Occasional Barista, on Spotify, Google Podcast, Anchor, Breaker, I don't even know anymore. There's so many, I'm on so many different platforms here. Use this and always gift it to a friend so they can do the same experiment as you. And if you don't want to have to do the experiment, I did it for you. So guess what, people? Don't throw away your beans. Go explore new ways to try coffee, because you know what? The one thing that Expedition Roast did right is it forced me to try something new, get out of my comfort zone, and explore coffee as we know it. This is The Occasional Barista to you guys. Have a great rest of your day.